is faced with industrialization, globalization, westernization. You just name it and it is there. Today we stand on the threshold of something which we hadn't even imagined to be, perhaps even till the beginning of last year. Faced with the pandemic of COVID 19, we are not even well prepared to face a situation such as this. Everything is chaotic, everything is confusing, and for situations like this, which lead to an amazing amount of complexities, amazing amount of frustrations in people cooped up in their houses, there are so many situations like these which actually need us to cope up emotionally, psychologically, socially, economically, financially, and to stand up or live up to a situation that would need us to be strong and driven individuals. So, keeping a world that is ever evolving and ever changing in mind, we understand that the world today presents its own set of complex situations and problems, and that is exactly where guidance plays a very important role. It helps individuals understand that there is nothing shameful about seeking help or talking to somebody who really can help you solve a particular issue. So, why then is guidance and counseling so important for students? First, it helps or allows them to be equipped with the challenges that the 21st century presents, be it academic, be it professional, be it futuristic in idea, personal, or social, anything at all. This is exactly where guidance comes in handy. It relates educational programs, it actually gives more meat to what you are studying. It helps practicalize why you are studying and what you are studying. It establishes the validity of your educational process with that of what you expect in life outside school, and also which areas you might actually use to engineer them to achieve your own success in life. Next, it facilitates career exploration and development because it definitely brings out the best in you. It also helps decision making and enhances problem solving skills. It helps you take your own decisions. It does not it minimalizes confusion. It minimalizes any kind of doubts that you have, because it makes you a much more confident and stronger individual, because you know what you expect from life personally. And also it helps to build skills that help you tackle problems and issues. It assists in acquiring knowledge of yourself and also of the others around you. It enhances your own personal development. We have already spoken about that. And it assists in developing effective interpersonal relationship skills, which means to say it allows you understand what should be said, when and how to react and how not to. It broadens your view of the changing, ever changing world, because as human beings have a very narrow perspective of life where we happen to be the center of our own worlds. But that is not exactly how we need to look at things all the time. Guidance and counseling will make it much more easier for students to understand any particular issue in any given point in time from others' perspectives as well. It provides advocacy for students. It encourages facilitative, cooperative, and peer interactions. You become better at it. It fosters resiliency factors for students, and it also assures equitable success to educational opportunities, so that there is no discrepancy between what you get and what the next person does. Now that we have discussed why children or students in schools require guidance and counseling to be a part of a school activity or the entire school process, we can now safely move on to the idea as to why it is as essential that teachers are equipped with the basic minimum training in guidance and counseling as well. Why and how it comes useful for teachers. Teachers are the frontline warriors of an educational system. They are the first in line of interaction with the students. They are the people who come into constant interactional instruction with students and are actually even respected and adored for the same. They have the responsibility and also the immense task of grooming a student from what he came into the school as and into what the school will see him leaving the school. Teachers become the most important individuals in a school process as far as students and administration both are concerned. Teachers today are expected to fulfill a kaleidoscopic range of functions and utilities. They have to fit into so many multiple roles, and hence, professionally, they have to be competent in fulfilling both their responsibilities and also be equally competent inside and outside the classrooms. So the important duties, yes, of course, is teaching. We all know that. But apart from that, guidance and counseling also features as one of the most important in classroom duties that a teacher should be well trained for. There is a global trend that we actually notice or identify that is shifting away from counseling towards guidance, which means to say that they want to move away from remedial or supportive measures towards preventive or developmental measures, which means to say we want to avoid a situation for students where a student or an individual would even need remedy. The person, if an issue can be avoided for the person, it is almost a battle won. The Hong Kong Education Department in 2001 published their official guide called the Guidance Work in Secondary Schools, a suggested guide for principals and teachers, in which they provided guidelines for guidance teachers who are supposedly full time teachers and who were expected to prioritize guidance over teaching duties. A very important approach came about in this publication, which is called the cooperative teamwork delivery approach towards student guidance. It emphasizes the involvement of the entire school personnel, the entire body of school of individuals who work in a school, which is to create a very caring and inviting environment for the students to grow up and to realize their potentials. And in the process, in an entirety, allow for and promote a person's or an individual's personal development. The school, the whole school approach towards guidance places the teachers at the pivot, and the entire process of imparting the guidance work goes around them. And obviously, so as we have just discussed a couple of minutes earlier, the teachers undoubtedly play the most important role in a school system, which means to say that guidance is taken out of from being the sole responsibility of one particular teacher or one particular individual or counselor to that becoming to it becoming a collective responsibility of each and every person involved in instruction in the school at the instructional level. So teachers hence have to be very well trained in order to be able the potentials, and in the process, in an entirety, allow for and promote a person's or an individual's personal development. The school, the whole school approach towards guidance places the teachers at the pivot, and the entire process of imparting the guidance work goes around them. And obviously, so as we have just discussed a couple of minutes earlier, the teachers undoubtedly play the most important role in a school system, which means to say that guidance is taken out of from being the sole responsibility of one particular teacher or one particular individual or counselor to that becoming to it becoming a collective responsibility of each and every person involved in instruction in the school at the instructional level. So teachers hence have to be very well trained in order to be able. So then what is guidance in schools? Guidance in schools becomes that particular area of provision by which you are making an individual future ready by helping the person assess or tap into his own capabilities, understand or come to terms with his own weaknesses and strengths, and then further use that to adjust himself to those of the needs of society. You also have to understand that guidance gives or alters personal behavior while adding meaning and helping the individual develop himself internally by making him completely aware of what he is as a person. And it also establishes and classifies a code or system of goals and values for future behavior. Whereas counseling on the other hand is a number of such procedures that assist an individual to solve his own problems. Counseling is more involved emotionally and in the effective realm of personalized learning. That is emotions and feelings, values or attitudes. Counseling is an interaction between or relationship between two or more individuals, which is called the client counselor relationship of trust. Counseling, we have to remember, is a continuous learning process in which the counselor will help or assist an individual to learn, understand, and make use of their immediate environment so that they do not hamper their own personal development. And also, it enables or strengthens the person to be in a position to choose the right kind of behavior that would help that particular individual to develop, grow, progress, ascend, mature, or step up. This process of development can be educational, vocational, personal, social, any which way. In other words, counseling will definitely be a transformative process. It will definitely, in the end, help people to learn both inside and outside the school. So, counseling is the idea of in-house or in-school guidance, the role which teachers play in-house or inside the school of guiding the students personally or addressing their personal needs would then mean counseling. It is a very specific, a very customized and a very interactive and one-on-one face-to-face process. This brings us to the next part of the lecture, which is what is the need or importance of guidance and counseling for students. Well, let us enumerate a couple of reasons why students should always be able to access a proper guidance and counseling personnel. First, the world is progressing at an unprecedented rate. We have industrialization, a population boom, westernization, globalization, you just name it and it is there. It is causing stress, anxiety, and many personal relationship issues among adolescents. Adolescents being in particular age group that we deal with as teachers in schools. This unnecessary tension or strain does have a very negative impact on the entire personality makeup of an individual. Society today has a lot of opportunities and a lot of options. That is exactly why, precisely, it is as confusing as well. From such a huge range of options to choose for, it can become very frustrating, complex, and confusing for students. Teachers, hence, will need to be able to orient a child, keeping him in mind his most immediate context and helping him steer clear from negativism or any kind of pervasive negative ideas that might be hindering his own physical or mental growth and productivity. Hence, counseling in educational institutions to assist a child becomes very essential for teachers to be able to mold the future of the student properly. Teachers are looked upon as role models. They are held in respect uh, by both parents and students alike, and hence their words come as very inspirational, motivational, and definitely something that the student holds in high esteem. Hence, it is very important that teachers understand what to say and how to say, so that it is useful not only to the students but also eases the burden on an already anxious parent. Teachers should be able to understand emotional, physical, spiritual, and psychological, academic, social, or the personal crisis that a child is undergoing. Because a teacher already is interacting with a child on a first hand basis. Hence, no one better than a teacher to understand exactly what the issue is that the student is facing firsthand. Uh, if at all, the child is facing any kind of issues which he or she cannot discuss with anybody else, be it peers or be it family, uh, for being scared of being misunderstood, definitely the teacher should come across as a friend and a philosopher, and most essentially a guide, to be able to allow the child a kind of purge where the person can confide in him, in the teacher personally. Being accessible and available to students on such close quarters, teachers are always the first to identify the strengths and weaknesses of a particular student, what the student excels in, what the person is weak in. So, the teachers, hence, are a very important character in molding the child towards what he or she does best and what interests him best as well, keeping in mind his future validity, keeping in mind how well he'll be able to use his personal talents to venture out professionally and live a happy life. Parents today are equally baffled as students being presented by this huge sea of opportunities in front of them for career choices. Where to invest, how much money for their awards, where to invest, what to do, where and in which field to encourage their children to pursue as a profession becomes a very big question and troubling also. Uh, that is exactly where the guidance of the teacher comes in handy, because she'll be able to allow a sync, a parity to surface between the expectation of the parents, the ability of the parents to invest in the future of the children, and also of the expectation of society and the expectation of the students primarily, how they want to see themselves in future or what they want to see themselves become in the near future.